Do I talk too much? Are my intros too long? Probably. So with that being said, welcome back everybody to another video. Today we're going to be talking again about things that you could do to each of your builds to make them look more professional. Today we're going to be talking about more structural builds, more natural builds, and not so much houses. Houses are cool and all, but they're not the only builds that everybody makes on Minecraft. So with that being said, once again, let's get into tip number 1. When working with nature, avoid straight lines. Now, I built these pathways just because I don't really think this is natural per se. Either way, when it comes to grass, when it comes to dirt, when it comes to pathing, I usually like to make sure that it has detail and it's pleasing to the eye. So I don't mean pick out every single wool color and place it down and call it a disco floor. I'm saying just grab any dirt related, wood related objects and plop them down, scatter them about, and see how you like it. Because this, I really like how this came out. This took one try, one go, and it's really easy once you have the materials to do it, and you don't even need, say, like rooted dirt, but coarse dirt paths, stripped oak logs, and you have a fairly good path just with that. You don't need the rooted dirt. Now with that, I'd like to come over here and show you, this isn't a bad first night path. Like, this is actually fairly decent. I like the curves. It gives it that just little attention to detail. Now, you could go a little farther and say add something like that, give it some more depth, and you have something that even looks just a little bit better. And also with the lighting, I would totally prefer this over torches and torch spam, but that's just me. I would put in that little extra bit of effort. So, good. Hey, can I fit through this? No, I can't. Tip number 2, make your build belong in the area you built it in. So with this one, I kind of put it a little bit on the nose. Here's a sandcastle going up a mountain. Don't do it. It's out of place. It doesn't belong there in the slightest. Over here, you can see I put together a little desert fortress kind of thing. Now, this and this are practically twins. The only thing that's here that's not there is depth. There's detail and sand on the floor, whereas this one's scaling a mountain. This is not, say, as practical as this when it comes to living in, but again, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's more of just decorative builds today. I'm not focusing too much on if you can live in it or survivability. It's more pathways and structures. If you're building in a desert, what I'm trying to say is build like you're in a desert. Don't build an oak house or a spruce cabin or anything of the sort. It won't match, it won't rhyme, there's not going to be any reason to it. Try and make sure that your builds are enjoying where they're staying. Now for tip 3, if you're building a tree, try splitting it closer towards the base. So this is also dependent on what kind of tree you're building. If you're building a hedge or something to stand in front of a mansion, this is perfectly fine. There's no detail, but I don't think there needs to be when you're building these in mass amounts. And some grass would work, but that's not really the point here. The point is up there. It is just, it's a leaf sphere. So if you're going for something that looks more natural and something that, like, it'll stand out on its own, then that would be over here. Now this, I wanted to theme it more around an azalea tree, kind of giving it life to the ground almost. As you can see, it's bringing back some grass to this dry land around it. And I'm getting stuck in all the cacti. I added some rooted dirt, I put coarse dirt around, And then I even put logs in the ground to make it look like the roots, the thick roots, were going around into the dirt and smaller roots were popping up around. I didn't want to go too crazy with the leaves like the last tree I built, because I wanted to see if there was something I could make that looked more scarce and more make the wood more visible on the tree instead of the leaves. So now for tip 4. Don't stress it and enjoy the process. This goes for every single build I've ever made, including these. I used to stress over building. I would feel like I was being timed. I had to get something out, something done, regardless if it was a YouTube video or not. It had to be done. I had to do it first. But if you do it first, then it's gonna be first. It's not, unless you have every single material on hand, it's not gonna be the prettiest. It's not gonna look like it was made with care. If you want it to look like it was made with care, you gotta put effort into it. You gotta put time into it. Time is very valuable when it comes to building, and if you waste it or if you spend too little time, then it's not going to turn out too well. I mean, the difference between these two, I built this within a matter of 15 minutes, whereas I put this all up, including the mountain, within 5. So there is a major difference there. I can't get over a sandcastle scaling a mountain. Other than that, yeah, just enjoy what you're building and enjoy what you're making. That's essentially the entire point of building. To have fun and enjoy what you're making. The building process is half the experience. Number 5 is take your time on your builds. It gives you more time to add and take things away to refine it. So that goes hand in hand with number 4. If you take your time, if you enjoy the process, and if you look at it, if you take the time to look at it, care of it, raise it, where am I going with this? If you truly do put in the care of detailing it, refining it, adding, removing stuff, making sure it looks good with the theme you're thinking of, then it's gonna turn out fine, regardless. It's gonna look just fine. If you take your time on builds, you can really enjoy the grandeur of them. Like, the difference between these two is about 30 minutes. I built that within, 35 minutes? That was within 5. It was a huge difference, mainly because I built that one first and it took a little bit getting the proportions right and getting the redstone to work. You can really enjoy every single detail that you put into a build when you give it time and when you look back at it, and if you really do appreciate the effort that you put in. If you appreciate your own efforts, then the build's gonna look fine. I really appreciate the support and the kindness from last episode. It was amazing. It really warmed my heart. I appreciate it all. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. I'll probably make another one of these very soon. And goodbye.